Welcome, spiritual lights. This is your pick a pile on mental health. I've been wanting to do this reading for a while, but I've kind of held off to try to get clear on how I wanted to do it. Are you feeling depressed or anxious or sad or just overwhelmed? Just dealing with mental health, which is something that we all deal with on a daily basis. I want to say I'm not a mental health care practitioner, but I am a tarot reader and I deal with people and their mental health all the time. So before you are 4 piles, and within them is hope for you. Hope, and what I'm wanting is to give you some clarity as to where you're at right now and how you can work with that. So there are 4 piles here, and of course in the description box below you can go to your pile at any time. I do want to invite you to 12 days of unification. It's a 12 days of meditation that I'm doing starting December 1st, 2020. This is a timeless reading. So if you want to do the 12 days, you can sign up below by going to the Facebook group page and signing up. You can sign up for my newsletter and you'll get an automatic update on those. So you have 2 ways to do it. Or you can just subscribe and come back here on December 1st. If it's well past 2020, don't worry, you can go back and do 12 days of unification as much as you want. They're just really mini exercises for you to bring yourself into a unified state of clarity and wholeness. Let's jump into the piles and see what's in the cards for you right now, having to do with your mental health. Pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Use the description box down below to travel to your pile. And if you need to come back here in a month or so and do a different pile, feel free to do that as well. Welcome to pile 1. You've chosen a Labradorite. I hope I can get that in there. It's such a pretty stone. Difficult to capture. All right. So let's see what the cards have. So this is the signifier, kind of where you're at. This is your wisdom for change. Here's what lies beneath, what walks beside you, and what lies above. So significator is attachment. Below, 6 of Pentacles. So this is reciprocity with the universe. The moon walks beside you, illusions, and the need for surrender. And then above is the high priestess, the intuition and knowing. If you chose pile 2, then it may be that you are either holding on to the past, and so much so that you are unable to move forward because it is keeping you stuck, thinking about what was, instead of what is right now. And there's a schism because you're trying to live in the past or hold on to the past. This could even be past trauma that just keeps reoccurring for you. And I don't want to make light of that ever. Trauma is very real for each one of us and affects us individually. But it could be that you're so anchored to that, and you see she's chained. She's looking at this, but she's chained the whole time. She may have this beautiful thing, this beautiful mask in her hand that she holds up to the world, or even holds up to herself, but the whole time she's chained by it. But the other part of attachment is that you are stuck thinking about the future so much that it frightens you to move forward. Both of these are 2 sides of the same coin. If you have a trauma from the past that you're looking at all the time, it can keep you anchored and afraid to move forward. And of course, if you're looking to the future and right now where you're at is uncomfortable, it can be hard to make decisions to move forward. And I definitely see down here in what lies beneath in this 6 of Pentacles for you, that you are thinking about give and take. The undercurrent in your life is that you're worried about the reciprocity of the world. So this worry could be in light of an old trauma. Maybe you're thinking about what's fair, like this was unfair and it was an unequal exchange, and that's keeping you anchored and in sadness. You just can't seem to move forward because it's so unfair to you that this hasn't been righted, or the scales haven't been anchored, that person didn't get what they deserve, or you didn't get what you deserved in the past. Also, though, you could be worried about the universe taking care of you. Likewise, you could be looking to someone else to provide for you, and that constantly thinking about how that other person is going to give to you keeps you in a low mental state that doesn't feel good. You feel trapped. You feel trapped by your need for this person, and yet you're just so incredibly dependent on them that it keeps you spinning out in a depressive cycle where you just don't feel as though you can get free. The key to this card, though, however, and the undercurrent of what's being offered to you by this lesson is your ability to know your self-worth. The invitation during this time in the undercurrent, the reason why you're feeling so trapped by your past or by the idea of what your future holds for you, is that it's really for you. This is a time for you to step up and own your own self-worth and know that you're capable of taking yourself forward. And it's an invitation. So, of course, I'm not making light of mental illness or any time that we're in a place of depression. I've been extremely depressed. I've had clinical depression, and I know that it's very serious. So I'm not saying that it's easy to move forward, but the step here in the offering from the universe to you, your gods, your, creation, your angels, is they really want you to know that you are capable. And as you come into knowing that you're capable of moving forward without the story from the past, you don't need to get what that person owes you from way back when, or that story or that situation, in order to move forward. And you don't need to remain in a situation where you're worried about what will come your way. When you own your own value and you begin to see yourself as whole and allow your guides in the universe to help you in this way, you will see that opportunities arise that will bring care into your life, the kind of care and support that you're needing. But first, you have to know that you're worth it, and you totally are. What's walking beside you right now are illusions. You have some illusions right now that you're holding on to. And in order to get free of that, you're really going to have to surrender to your now. When we are trying to live for the future, or we're constantly thinking about the future or constantly thinking about the past, we're avoiding our now. And what that means for you is you just can't be present with what's happening and the feelings that you need to process at this point. And I know that they could be very painful feelings about where you're at. But this honesty, having some honesty for yourself and acknowledging that you don't know, and acknowledging that you don't know how to be without the story from the past, and acknowledging that you don't know how to be without this person that's helping you or this situation that's helping you. Acknowledging that and acknowledging your own weakness and allowing yourself to really explore that. And you see here that she's falling beneath the waves here, beneath the water, and just surrendering to the power of the moon, which is coming down. When you do that, when you allow yourself to surrender to this moment, then the illusions can fall away. The illusion that you're trapped, the illusion that you'll never be more than what that person said to you back then, or you'll never be able to make more than you can right now in the situation that you're in. These are all illusions that keep us anchored in fear versus the potentiality of love and care that the universe has for you. And you continue to magnetize and swirl around the same attachments to lack when you focus on that. So it's time to let go. And that's really what's walking beside you. These illusions that you have are walking hand in hand with you. And in order to get free of them, you're going to have to let go. The High Priestess is coming from above and is here to help you at this time. This is your intuition, and it's also the part of the Moon card. The key to the Moon card, the key to overcoming illusions, is to dive into your intuition, is to dive into that still small voice that's within you that is calling you out of this. So for many of you, you already know you have an illusion or you have a story that you just keep coming back to over and over again. You can't seem to get over it, whether it's one that's in the future for you or one that's in the past that just keeps coloring your life. You're going to have to learn to trust yourself. And that's what this card is right here. You will. You are right now, because of the situation that has been created and the space and time that you're in. You are being offered this, and it is happening. You're being transformed by the experience you're in. And this undercurrent of lack that you're feeling, this scarcity, this fear of not having enough, fear of not getting what's yours, the fear that you hold on to about the story that that other person didn't get what they deserved, that's just an illusion that's holding you back. And as you move into trusting yourself and owning your own story, then you really can move into a more powerful place that makes you feel as though you can. Sometimes when we're dealing with mental issues, we can just get so bogged down, and you're definitely swirling right now. Let's see what helps bring release to you. Wanted to wait to show this. Oh, look, honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. Again, there it is, honesty. Honesty for what's going on, honesty about how you're feeling, but honesty, being honest with yourself about how you have, and I know this is such a hard word, so please don't take this the wrong way, but how you've allowed that story to go on and keep you held captive, until you say, I'm powerful and I'm not choosing for that to be my story any longer. That will continue to be your story. And I know with clinical depression, it is not easy. So if that's something that you're dealing with, hey, keep seeing your professional, keep dealing with people that are there to help you. I'm not saying give up on the people that are there, but I am saying it's time for you to realize that you are the one that's empowered. And you may just need to get honest about how you've disempowered yourself during this time and why you're disempowering yourself. Do you want someone else to do it for you? Is it too scary to let go? Like, what happens? Maybe it's been 10, 20, 30 years of holding on to that story as the reason why you can't move forward. And I have to tell you, that can be very scary to say, I'm not going to let that be the reason I don't move forward anymore. I'm not going to allow that to be an excuse for why I can't move forward. That's scary because you might have built the last 30 years of your life on that story. And that's a big move. But I just want to say that the universe is really here to support you. I want to do a surrender card, and I never draw these until the very end. If you've ever had a private reading with me, then you know I always do these while I'm recording. So your surrender card, oops. Actually, let's put it right over here. Surrender to silence. Oop, and it's right there next to the moon, which is perfect. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. And that's right along that surrender to self, that silence. When we remove the stories, when we remove all of the reasons for why you're sad, why you're anxious, why you just can't move forward, when you take all of that away and you simply sit with yourself in the silence, you're faced with who you are. There's no reason that comes from outside of you. There's no story. There's nothing but just you and your ability. So sitting in that silence and surrendering to silence is going to be key for you during this time to move towards mental clarity and move away from anxiety and sadness, depression, and a sense of lack or whatever it is that's feeling uncomfortable for you during this time, is to really just get alone with yourself and know that you're enough. Know that your intuition is in that silence and is there to meet you where you're at. I want you to know that you're deeply loved and that your angels, your guides, the universe is working very hard to get you to a place where you can be free and whole again. I hope that you will embrace that and move towards the part of you that is whole and keep pulling that thread. You are appreciated and loved. Until we meet again, namaste. Welcome to pile 2. This is the Aura Quartz here that you've chosen. It's a lovely piece. There's some reason you were attracted to it. It's very sparkly, like the cards in this reading. Okay. So first we have what lies at the center of what's going on in the heart. Ooh, deceit. So something is not as it seems. And then over here, this is the key to moving you forward and out of this place. What lies beneath is the Judgment card. So it's a wake-up call. What lies beside? Queen of Wands reversed. Maybe some guilt and shame stories that are really keeping you captive. And what lies above? What is seen, what needs to be seen, is the Hermit. So a space of knowing your own power. These are lessons that we learn by ourselves. No one else can teach them to us. So first things first here, deceit. It may be that you're just not being honest with yourself about a situation. If you're feeling stuck or anxious, frightened, fearful, depressed, just overly sad about something, then it may be that you're not being honest with yourself about what's going on with you. And that could be that you're just unbalanced right now. There was a point when I had clinical depression where I was so unbalanced that I was incredibly paranoid as well. And I just had a lot of stories that weren't true going on in my head. And of course, this was 20 some odd years ago when I went through this, but I still remember just like yesterday how frozen I was and how I was constantly on the lookout for what might be coming my way because I just did not trust the world around me to create an atmosphere where I could live and be in a way that was safe. So you may be feeling very unsafe, and I really feel like this card is telling you that those are stories that you're telling yourself, and there may be some deception. What's more important is, why you're deceiving yourself. If you're very deep into paranoia, I would say you should talk to a mental health care professional about what you can do to get yourself back in balance. I did a lot of behavior modification techniques that helped me to get out of that. I did it without medication, but I am not saying that medication is wrong. If you're on medication, that can be what really brings you back to center. And really right now, the undercurrent is this wake-up call, is judgment. I think that the energy is mounting. This feeling, what's the word I'm looking for? Insecure in your world. Feeling so sad, like nothing's going right and everything's coming against you, and what's wrong next, what's going to happen next that's going to be, you just know it's going to be another bad thing that happens to you. You're getting a wake-up call. This is your wake-up call. This energy is mounting, bringing you to wake up and be reborn out of this. Now, I'm not saying that the bad things that are happening to you are there and that they're good and this should be happening to you. What I'm saying is that they are distinct undercurrent in your life where maybe some things are dying and you're holding on to them. You're trying not to lose what you have. And it's really a time where things need to pass away so that you can wake up and come into yourself. Over here, what's walking beside you, you're really holding on to reality very tightly. And you're really trying to control what's going on with you in such a way where you don't want to risk anything. And so you may even be a little bit ruthless towards yourself or other people in your life. And that's really affecting your mental clarity and making you anxious. There could be some stories of guilt or shame that keep coming up. And so again, that's walking hand in hand with deceit. You are deceiving yourself with the idea that you can somehow tight fist reality and come into the freedom and flow that you want, to where you can trust and feel the universe supporting you. If you are not being honest with yourself, and or if you're even dishonoring yourself with guilt and shame tapes, that are in your head. Guilt can be very positive. If you kill somebody and you feel guilty, well, that's probably a good thing that drives you not to kill someone. I know that's an extreme example, right? But guilt is something that should spur us on to be better people. What becomes shameful is when you have something that you feel guilty about, and then you decide that you're going to cover it. And then it just festers, and it becomes this thing that we're afraid of putting in the light. And it may be that you have some shame around something from your past that happened. Some of you could be victims of physical abuse, physical or sexual abuse. Just could be a multitude of things that happened in your past that you now have shame. And you're trying to keep the world from knowing that. And you think that, and I'm not saying go shout it on the mountaintop, but you're deceiving yourself thinking that you can cover that up and that it will simply go away. Instead, it's just going to rot and fester and be something that keeps you stuck in this way of life. Again, you're being called to wake up. This is a wake-up call that you're deceiving yourself in this way. Also, if you hyper-control everything around you, it doesn't mean that adverse things won't happen to you. When you are this controlling, you cut off flow in your life, and you cut off the energy that allows you to move into synchronicity. It cuts off the universe from bringing new and wonderful things to you. So really, there's something going on with you right now that is keeping you mentally unbalanced by this controlling attitude that you have. And you're really fooling yourself by thinking that you can wrestle that and somehow control the world around you and still have all the good things that you're desiring in your life. And up here, what's coming from above, what's shining down, what's coming down on you, what's coming from the conscious level into your life is the Hermit energy. And this energy here, when we have a 9, it's always about a personal lesson that you're having on your own, that you have to go through on your own. These are steps that you have to take. So what I'm hearing here is that it's really about you understanding that it's you, it's not the people around you. You can't blame other people. It's not the story from the past that you feel ashamed of that's keeping you. Again, you have to take the walk up the mountain. And that's exactly what the Hermit does. He walks to the top of the mountain and he looks out over the abyss and the void. And that is the place where he's able to see himself and find the wisdom in who he is and what he's cultivated in his life. So this could be a painful energy for many of you to really look at what you've cultivated in your life that has brought you to this place of feeling unstable. And I don't want to make light of that. I've been there. Actually, I go there on and off. When I go to the void, I see the places that I have held myself captive. I see the stories that I tell myself that keep me from actually being authentic. The cool thing about this is once you go to the top of the mountain and you take a look at this and you take a good hard look at yourself and you see the places that you're blaming and you let that wake up call come in, you can come back down the mountain. You have this lantern, it lights the way. You have divine help with you right now. And I really want to say that your angels and your guides, whatever it is that you believe in, God, goddesses, God, gods, plural, whatever it is you believe in, they're there and they want to support you in this wake-up call. And this is big. This is 20. This is a huge lesson of understanding self that you're being called to during this time. So if you feel like the energy is only getting bigger and the anxiety is mounting more and more, it's because you're creating this for yourself and you're being called to really die to that. but you'll need to go up to the top of the mountain and look at yourself really well. And that means setting time apart to do that, really taking some space away from keeping busy. You may be so busy trying to control everything, whatever that is in your life. Maybe that shows up as OCD. Some of you know that all too well, where you're just overly controlling. You have to move away from the cleaning and the organizing. You have to move away from always going to work. Whatever it is that you're doing to feel in control. It could be even addiction. So be aware of addictions. You'll have to take space away from the way you've been doing it and be alone with yourself so that you can hear that still small voice and the wisdom that's in you. Okay, let's see what the key to moving forward is for you. Be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. And again, what we see here is that needing to be present with yourself, letting go of the past or these ideas that you have that have held you captive, that you're deceiving yourself with, and dream of the future. What does it mean to dream? Well, have you stopped to dream of a different life and what that might be like for you? When you actually take a moment to dream about who you could be outside of where you're at right now, you open up the realm of possibility, and then you can take and look at that dream and look at where you are right now and see where the discrepancies are. What are the choices that this person right now that you are is making, and how are they different from the person in this dream life? That is your key to really moving away from this deception. You'll have to let go of the way you've been doing it, and you'll have to let go of the beliefs that you've been holding on to for so long. And like I said, it could be a story way from the past that's tied to shame. For some of you, this is really very true, that it's tied to shame. And you are being offered the way out. It is here right now. This ability to see yourself, and then this is the mystic. And the mystic opens the mind. You have the ability to open your mind right now and dream. Dreaming is a lot easier than planning, right? So instead of planning, which is very controlling, dream. Let your mind go wild. Let your mind go to a place where you feel the way that you want to feel, and then spend some time in that space and allow yourself to open to the solutions that are there for you. I just want to encourage you. I hope that you feel loved by the universe, by this message, that it's going to take some bravery for you, but I know that there is support here for you from your guides and your angels. And when you open yourself up to it being different, there may even be some people and some synchronicities that come along. You just have to be willing to stop doing it the way you've been doing it. You are so loved and so appreciated. If this reading hits home for you, I want to encourage you to share it with a friend. They may pick a different pile, but we all struggle at times for mental clarity, and this could be something that could help them with choosing a pile that relates to where they are. Again, and you are loved and appreciated, and the universe is here to support you in giving up this old way of thinking. Until we meet again, namaste. Hello, Pile 3. You chose Moonstone. This is such an amazing piece of Moonstone. I hope you can really see just how lovely and reflective that is. Of course, Moonstone is linked to intuition. Let's see what's in the cards for you about what's going on with you mentally right now, your mental health. So this is the significator. This is kind of where you're at right now. This is what helps you to get out of where you're stuck at. This is what lies beneath, and it's the Five of Wands. So you're toying with a lot of different things. And then we have what walks beside you right now, 21, the World. So there's a level of completion that's happening that can be very overwhelming. And, ooh, I guess that's a little too high. And then what is coming from above, what's shining down, is the King of Discs. So that is some real success through slow and methodical movement. Where you are right now is Goddess of the Moon. So I would say if you do pile 3 here, your mental health right now, you may just be feeling very overwhelmed by all the messages that you're receiving from the universe. And you did choose Moonstone, which is about intuition. So you're obviously are being drawn to that because right now your intuition is really online. There may just be so many messages coming to you at this time that you feel overwhelmed. It may be so much that sometimes when we have this many messages, when the universe decides to show up, so you may be a star seed or a light worker, and you're just, there are so many downloads coming, so many things in your life are happening. If you don't see yourself that way, your mental health right now may feel a little bit rocky because you just feel like there are so many messages, so many things happening rapid fire that it's hard for you to grasp them all. And you're just feeling overwhelmed by that. It's just so much. Now, down here, the undercurrent in your life right now is the ability to play, to really be able to look at different things and try them out. And so part of what may be really throwing you off at this point is that as this message comes in, you try to grab a hold of it and say, okay, I've got to make this one work. But I really feel like the universe is just throwing different things at you, at your consciousness right now, and you should let them float by like leaves on the wind. Instead of trying to make rational sense, whenever you grab hold of energies with your mind, it becomes a very uncomfortable place, especially if things are rapid fire in your life. Even situations are signs and symbols from the universe. So when you just try to grab hold of all of them and you shove them into this small space of your conscious mind, it gets very uncomfortable very quickly. Again, the key here in this undercurrent is to play with them, is to allow them to be something that you're trying out. Realize that you're being trained up because you are coming to a place of completion in your life. You're up leveling. I know that for some of you, it just doesn't feel like that. It feels like you're drowning. And I want you to know I've been there myself. There was a point in my life where there was so much flow and synchronicity from the universe that I just asked the universe to back off because I was just like, I can't take it. But you are coming to the end. This is a congratulatory message that the world is walking beside you. This is the last stop, number 21, on the Fool's Journey. And what it means for you is that you're really taking all of the things that you've learned up to this point and putting them together. And that's why you're busy tossing them around in your mind in very different ways. Again, don't get too hung up on that, on trying to figure each one out. Just know that you are actually, all of this is an amalgam. It's actually a soup that's coming together. And what makes a good soup? A good soup comes from when it has a chance to sit on the stove and simmer for a while. So you need to allow that to happen. You need to let these messages just sort of simmer in you right now and realize that you're coming to an end. This is definitely the end of a cycle. You can't go any farther in the tarot. You're going to go back to 0, the placeholder outside of time, and start over. So right now, it's just everything's coming at once. And it seems like a lot, and it seems like a lot of pressure on you to be able to get it right and to understand all these things. What's coming from above right now and coming into your life is the King of Pentacles. And what makes this so nice is the ability to slow down. The King of Pentacles is all about seasons and cycles. You know, you understand that things are not forever. You know that where you're at is not forever. It feels like it. When we're in the moment, it feels like forever, doesn't it? I know that when I'm at this time when I'm having an overload from all the different things that are heading my way, that I definitely feel like this is a forever moment and the emotions seem as though they're overtaking me. But the King of Pentacles really says, hey, just let yourself slow down. You are a multidimensional being. You are someone who has the ability as a spiritualist to move into a place where you can ground yourself. So I'd really say get into some grounding things. To ground yourself and know that this is a part of sowing and reaping. So right now, in some ways, you are sowing seed into the universe, and some ways you're reaping seed. All of this is coming together for the purpose of making a beautiful you. So in many ways, it feels slow to you, like, God, this is dragging on forever. But the point is that you have so much energy moving through you at this point that mentally you might just feel like you're on the edge. You're really on the edge. Allow yourself to slow down. Know that the universe is really supporting you, that your guides, your angels, God, creation is here to support you as you move into the culmination of coming into yourself. So although all of this that's happening right now does not feel like it's bringing you to you, it absolutely is. And it is not forever. It is coming to a head, a fruition. And what you do right now is creating a pathway to you enjoying yourself more and more. A pathway to a you. It's not a new you, because we're always in the moment, in the present, and you are yourself at all times. But the person that you are coming to understand, right now it feels like too much, but soon enough it will not. And you will have taken all of these energies and you will be them, and it will not feel so overwhelming. Let's look at what your key is here to kind of overcoming this overwhelm that you're feeling at this point in life. Do something for someone. Give your attention to another. And I think that's a great idea, because you're probably just so highly focused on yourself that you're having trouble. You're just having trouble enjoying who you are and being with yourself. And so if you can take your eyes off of yourself, do something for someone else. Service very often opens up the realm of gratitude, and it just creates a sense of well-being. You can make it about someone else. You can take all of this energy, not think about yourself. Maybe it's service. Maybe you do join a global meditation that brings you into helping others, thinking about creating a planet that's healed, whatever it is that's in your heart to do and be a part of. Maybe it's time to pour out because there's just so much energy coming in. So do something for someone else. So I want to do a surrender card here, and I never draw them until the very end. If you've ever gotten a private reading from me, then you know that I draw these at the end. I don't want them to ever color the reading at all. And if you want a private reading, you can look at the links down below and check those out. Okay. Ooh, surrender stubbornness. If you're tensing or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. This will help you communicate more lovingly with others and yourself. So again, it may be that you are trying to take a stance, a solid stance, and that's what this card right here is all about, is playing with it, taking different stances, trying out different ways of being. It's time to surrender the position that you've always taken. And by not being stubborn, then you'll let the energies flow through you. If you're just taking a certain stance, then you're not going to open and let the energy flow. So now is the time to surrender stubbornness and realize that you may be stuck in a mental, in a place that doesn't feel mentally well because you're just trying to do it just one way. So allow yourself to relax into this situation and trust that you are coming into the fullness of who you are. And, mental health is, it's big for all of us, and it should always be big for all of us. And I never want to make light of what's going on. So I do want to say that there are times to see a mental health care practitioner. At this point, I just want to point that out to you, that if you're seeing a counselor, maybe you can talk with them with the ways that you're stubborn in your way of thinking. But you can get help if you need to get help at any time. You can, but I do want to say, ask your guides. Ask God for help, goddess, whatever it is that you're into, the universe, angels. Ask them to help you as you make this transition into yourself, and surrender your old position, and that will really help you. Again, go out and serve someone, do something for someone else, and that will really help you get your mind off yourself so that you stop spinning out and feeling so overwhelmed by everything that you're thinking about. Thanks so much for being you. And I do want to say that I have 12 days of unification that starts on December 1st, 2020. You can listen to all 12 of those meditations if it's well past that time, because this is a timeless video, at any time. So you can go and check that out. There'll be a playlist in meditations that will let you do all 12 of those meditations that help bring you into unification. And they are just a beautiful set of meditations that can help you come into greater mental health. Thank you so much for being you. And until we meet again, namaste. Welcome to pile number 4. You have chosen Citrine. This is a lovely piece. And you can never capture the beauty of them. It's a nice dark one. I really like it. It's lovely. So Citrine. Let's see what the cards have to say about your mental health here. So this is at the center of what's going on with you. The Magician and the Mirror. So definitely you're being able to see yourself. This over here is the key to helping you overcome the mental health issue that you're dealing with right now. Here's what lies below. The Hangman. So you're definitely in a place where you're being held by the universe to look at something and grow. Oh, the Knight of Swords. Definitely some forward momentum here and bringing you into that space of mental clarity. This is what walks beside you. So lots of thoughts racing right now. And what lies above? We have good old happy family, 10 of Cups. Where you are right now is exceptionally powerful place. I would ask you, are you ready to be powerful in your life? Are you willing to see yourself as the magician and to realize that you have the power to transform your life? At this moment, where you stand is on the precipice of an opportunity to really know your power and learn how to transform all the different aspects of your life. So for many of you, you may be coming to this understanding, but it may be confusing for you because you could feel held in place, like you're stuck and you just can't move. It's not a bad kind of stuck. It's the Hangman, which is the kind of stuck that says where the universe says, whoa, get over here, sit down in that chair while I teach you this lesson. You've got to get this. So the undercurrent in your life is one of, if you look with your natural eyes, you're just going to say, I'm stuck. I'm not moving forward. I can't do this. Why is nothing working for me? I just am so upset about it. You could be anxious. You could be depressed about it. But truly, you are in this space where the universe is saying, wow, there's so much power in you. It's time for you to step up and see that power, to know who you are and to realize that you are the one in charge of that. I can tell you when the Hangman shows up, there's no getting out of it. You're going to get this lesson. You're going to learn about your own personal power. So the sooner you switch your mind over to allowing yourself to move forward in areas mentally, I would say power of air, the allowing messages to come through and allowing yourself to look and race forward into the parts of yourself that you've held yourself back. I would say that's the biggest message that I'm getting from my guides here for you, is that you need to allow yourself to move forward into who you are and who you're not. So if there's some area of your life that you're stuck in, you're going to have to sit and look at it. And you're really going to need to race in there and say, I can do this. This is the energy that walks beside you. And there's a lot of energy, a lot of ability for forward momentum. And that's because you are coming into a place of completion up here. Look at this. When you're down here feeling stuck, it's hard to imagine that you're going to be in a place where it feels wonderful. Shining down on you right now is this wholeness, this place of being whole. And that's maybe why you're feeling stuck, because you haven't quite embodied that yet. You haven't quite come into the realization of your personal power. And you need to have who you really are kind of call you. But the energy that's actually into yourself. Again, my question is, are you willing to be powerful? Are you willing to own your choices in your life? Are you willing to move forward and look at yourself in the areas that you're not moving forward and be very honest? This energy makes it up as it goes along. So, you don't have to know how you're going to do it. You just need to go towards that part of yourself that you haven't been facing for a while and get in there and just start doing it. Just step out. Just do it. Don't think that you have to plan on how you're going to mentally get out of this. Your mental health and the energy right now that's walking with you is this move forward energy. Now, that being said, it's kind of a dichotomy here, right? Because over here it's be still, and then over here it's move forward. So I want to say that this is not necessarily a physically moving forward. This could be just a mental way of moving forward and looking at, I keep hearing opposition. So there's this opposition in yourself, and there's a lot of opposing forces here. This is very opposing. These are very opposing forces. However, you are at this space, beautiful one, where your power is coming online, and you know it. You know that you can make these choices. You know that you can move yourself towards greater mental health by choosing to really, I would say, stick it out in an area of your life that maybe you've been unwilling to be in before. So, I've had clinical depression, and I just want to say it's nothing to mess around with. It's really a bummer. So if you're dealing with really big mental health issues, I don't want to make light of this. But I do want to say that you're in this space right now because the universe is holding you so that you can understand that you are powerful enough to get out of it. You are powerful enough to make choices to alchemize, which is to change, right? The alchemist changes lead into gold. And that's exactly what you are doing. You are coming into this dreamy space of dreams come true, feeling amazing. It really had that culmination. This is not just like the end of a cycle. 10s are actually about the realization of it. So I just want to say, if you feel really stuck right now, it's definitely not forever. If you're stuck in a mental eddy where your mental health feels really down right now, don't worry. Your power is coming online. You're gonna figure it out as you go along. And where you're gonna end up is in this place where you feel like you've overcome and come into a place of well-being, of really, this is the card of well-being. So let's look at, this is your card that helps you get, from here to there, basically. And it says, listen with your heart. You are listening, but need to hear with a loving heart. Wow, isn't that perfect? So sometimes we listen to the situation. So if you're in this place where you're being held by the universe so that you can really look at something, you can't just do a surface listening. This is a place of going deep within and using your heart. And for some of you, this will really make sense, that heart opening space. When you open your heart to the universe, you are in a place of trust, and you allow your guides and your messengers to really speak to you. Now it's time to do that. It's time to sit in this space and open your heart to what's going on here. Maybe it seems really scary to open your heart to the way that you're feeling right now, and to really listen with compassion, but that's what needs to happen. There needs to be a true, deep heart listening as to why you're not utilizing your power. There's a reason that you're not utilizing your power and you have disempowered yourself. And the universe is going to help you understand that, because it's going to keep you here so that you can get to this. So open your heart and allow yourself to listen more deeply to yourself, really. I'm going to do a surrender card, and if you've ever gotten a reading from me, you know that I do these last. I never draw them at the beginning. I never want to know or see them on the table. So if you want a personal reading, you can check out my readings below. There's a link in the description box to that. All right, surrender card. Surrender to the magic of who you are. That's just so perfect. I just love the way these come together, because you are powerful. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that comes from just being you. And again, I think that is that, when we're held in this place by the universe, it's not like we can do a bunch of stuff to say that, hey, I'm great, or feel good about myself. We just have to be with ourselves. And in that place of surrendering to yourself and your own magic, you're definitely going to get that magician to rise up in you and realize your personal power. Man, those are just beautiful. This is so great. So interestingly enough, pile 3 and 4 were on one level, and pile 1 and 2 were on a very different level as well. And I thought that was fascinating. You may want to come back at a different time, do this reading again, and re-choose a different pile if you need to. I want to invite you to my 12 days of unification, and you can sign up for that. If it's before December, you can sign up for that by clicking the link below that says 12 days of unification. If it's after December, then you're welcome to come back and just do those meditations, and they will bring you, they're very short, very small meditations, 12 days of meditations to bring you into a unified place where you clean out the junk, come into your power and yourself, and really enjoy who you are. 12 short days. So sign up for that below by clicking the link, or just come back here on December 1st, whatever you feel comfortable with. Wow. Thanks so much for being you. This is by far the sweetest of all the readings out of these 4 piles, because this is incredibly powerful and euphoric. So you are headed to a place that feels really good. It just doesn't seem like that right now. Remember, nothing is forever. You're headed to this euphoric place, or I should say this place of happiness. Listen with your heart and surrender to your magic. Until we meet again, namaste.